Have you ever nearly drowned? Have you ever tried to save a drowning person? The instinct to cling to the nearest object or person in order to stay afloat can either be life-saving or life-ending. You just might drag the people looking to save you down into the depths with you. The expression grasping at straws in etymology was first referenced in 1534 by Thomas More in his work, A Dialogue of Comfort Against Tribulation. This phrase refers to individuals who are drowning, grasping at any floating object, even straws, in order to save themselves. Metacognition is an awareness and understanding of one's own thought process. Metacognition is the ability to self-assess and learn with intent. Someone who has metacognition who has discovered that they may be wrong about something may not only look to examine the way that they learn in an attempt to recognize the red flags of their bad arguments and sources in the future, but they will move to strike out their formerly bad arguments and take pride in correcting themselves instead of grasping at straws to save a drowning point. There are some people, unfortunately, who are not metacognitive. Not to say that they do not have the capacity to correct themselves. It can be by choice. I was once one of these individuals who, though I had the capacity, I chose to grasp at straws to save drowning arguments. But then I grew up and rewired myself. Now, when I am confronted by multiple people regarding accusations that an individual running for office is working in the dark against people I either root for or care about, I prepare to wage war. For the past 3 years, one name has come up consistently. That name is Reath Chauvin. Chauvin and I had arguments in the past politically, but nothing shocking or major, particularly considering the demographic he represents. However, these disagreements had caused me to have it out for Chauvin, and I have consistently jumped at opportunities to tear the man down. Last year, for example, a young single mother in dire straits who rented from him came to me to try to get me to rip the man apart. I asked questions and something felt a little off. I researched the facts, and it's safe to say the young single liar played the victim so much that she even wound up threatening me with an injury attorney. She told me not to post any material on it, and me being me, I posted 60 minutes worth of video on the subject in documentary fashion, very thoroughly researched. Interestingly, I could never destroy Chauvin because the facts were seemingly on his side. But now, it has been brought to my attention by an acquaintance that Reath is allegedly a kiss-ass, a crook, a schmuck, who lost the election by a landslide. He only ran because he runs an illegal gun range, and the parish wanted to shut them down. Him being him, decided to make buddies with the parish by telling everyone how disorganized the parish is and how they lack priorities. I don't really understand how that argument makes sense, but she never claimed that the man was smart. So I looked into the facts, and this is what I found. Lost by a landslide. The parish is notorious for many issues. Nepotism is to be expected, but the buddy-buddy system seems to lean towards the buddies with the most money and the largest appetite for land, aka anti-land right heir stealers who will use any justification to take the land for pennies on the dollar. All these people have to do is phone a friend at the parish, and the parish will come out with a ruler measuring grass. The parish is also notorious for making mistakes on homestead-exempt land, reassessing it at ridiculous rates, and then telling individuals that the mistake-driven back taxes must be paid first before the mistake is corrected. Failure to pay can result in a loss of land to the parish.
So now we're back at the same boat again, and this time we can't necessarily afford to pay it. So it's gotten to the point where we're going to lose our land and our home. So it needs to be fixed before we pay it, because last time it did not get fixed. We're not doing this for...
We cannot put it back together until it is paid.
The parish is also known for its lackluster knowledge of state statutes, local laws, ordinances, and codes, and a visible willingness to not only blindly fine individuals and erroneously seize property like classic vehicles, etc., but also a willingness to change existing codes that they were wrong about in order to violate the Constitution, wipe their asses with property rights, and turn Calcasieu Parish into a giant HOA, which is a nightmare for families who have lived here for centuries with plots of land worth tens of thousands of dollars, jeopardized by money and land-grabby neighbors with friends in the parish who send cronies out to measure grass on rural lots after the rain, or they police repairs, permits, materials, and structures. They contract companies to mow grass and demolish structures if things are not done in a timely manner, and then fine the resident. And if these bills cannot be paid, a simple set of fines and work done result in a lien on the property. The parish can take a $150,000 inherited family property for pennies on the dollar over a few inches over on grass blades during hard times. The people look for a candidate willing to address some of these issues, and those who I've asked actually appreciate Reath Chauvin for his hardcore stance on infinite property rights and no bullshit approach to corruption. When asked, Darby Quinn, the other candidate, stated that he would prioritize recreational kayaking with the parish tax dollars over everything else. Reath Chauvin actually stated that he would prioritize the decade-old backdated drainage issues that were drowning cows and livestock whenever it rains. But when early voted starting September 30th and ended on October 7th, Darby Quinn, the kayaks, for some reason, won with 50.66% of the vote. But it is ludicrous to consider that a landslide win. Stevie Nicks sure wouldn't approve of the bastardization of the term. Reath Chauvin acquired 49.34% of voters. That is a 1.32% difference, or a difference of 46 voters, all verified by multiple sources, including Calcasieu Parish Police Jury and the American press. This election was even a closer call than the Trump-Biden election. It's safe to say that this is definitely a uniquely misinformed perspective for multiple people to carry, and I wonder what sour-ass grape is tainting the fruit basket. Because it's completely made up. There's no mistake. It is absolutely fabricated bullshit. Someone started this lie and is spreading it to people who are supposed to be factual. I guess we'll know who's doing it depending on who doubles down on the slander and who redacts it or stops telling it. But whoever's saying it to people, or whoever initiated, well, they're bullshit. They're manipulative. They're liars, and I hate that for them. Now, the allegation that Reath is running an illegal gun range. My findings. It has been alleged by multiple sources, including individuals tied to a local gun range and individuals tied to the parish, that Reath is running an illegal gun range. This allegation concerned and surprised me because if true, it could put Second Amendment carriers in danger. If false, this means that individuals who work a gun range are not informed on gun legislation or are actually leaning into anti-constitutionalist gun restrictions imposed on other ranges for opposition's sake or pettiness. Now, this accusation was a very, very easy accusation to solve. According to Louisiana Revised Statute, RS 30-2055.1, the statute which people most likely kept in mind when calling the parish with a noise complaint regarding the illegal gun range involves sports shooting ranges or recreational ranges for sport. Reath's educational berm does not qualify under that definition. However, under Calcasieu Parish Police Jury, Chapter 26, Article 1, Division 2, Section 26.4, under definitions, the range consideration qualifies a facility that provides recreational shooting of firearms as a range. Now, the legal definition of recreational does state that recreation promotes entertainment, pleasure, play, relaxation, or, get this, instruction. However, for instruction to be considered recreational, it has to fit the following elements of recreation included in the definition previously listed, involving those activities of a voluntary and leisure time nature that aid in the promotion of instruction. Firing a weapon to acquire a CCW permit in the state of Louisiana is a requirement, not voluntary. It is not leisure time. And this is according to LRS 401379.3 D1B. Any safety or training course or class as described in the subsection, except for basic handgun training and military service provided in subparagraph 1G of this subsection, shall include instruction in child access prevention, a demonstration by the applicant of shooting proficiency, and safe handling of a handgun. Now the wording is clear. Not only is it clear here on paper, but it was also made clear in arbitration, which, though was alleged to be made up, it happened, and Reath came out ahead. Even if it didn't happen and he didn't come out ahead, the problem I have most with this accusation from a fellow gun Second Amendment individual who makes a living off of the Second Amendment, it renders the taste of Kiwi black boot polish a palatable flavor of logic to where the accuser would believe that just because the government doesn't like it means that it shouldn't be. I would hope that anyone that promotes the Second Amendment or makes a living off of it would, in spite of the potential for Reath losing an arbitration, still support him because he's right. And I would hope they would not wish for further anti-2A rulings to exist to be referenced against other integral components of the regulated militia of the nation, especially not for something as petty as miscommunication, entitlement to other people's belongings, victimhood bullshit, or knocking out the competition. Now, we also know that once you've activated the parish, they don't back down. No amount of running a campaign against them and speaking out against them is going to kiss their ass to get them to stop fucking with you. In fact, they're more likely to fuck with you. Also, since when did we start reading minds? We know very clearly things Reath Chauvin stated during his campaign. Also, a man with that many signs isn't running to kiss ass. The signs very clearly state, not for sale. Why assume he's lying? Someone really has it out for this man and is willing to say anything to convince people he's a crook, outside of proving literally anything being stated about him and what originally started this shit. For example, the biggest and most commonly used argument, oh, he's a terrible landlord. This accusation concerns me for obvious reasons because there's no proof of that. But the allegations regarding mold in the walls, well, I took a borescope to one of his rentals and found this. It's perfectly sound. Not only that, the man and his wife have been repeatedly subjected to getting screwed over by tenant damage. Filters being removed and not replaced, requiring thousands of dollars worth of central AC unit replacements, animal, boyfriend, and child damage ranging in the tens of thousands. I literally posted a 1 hour-long documentary on the last lady. He is one of the last landlords in this state to raise rates. He maintains his properties. He's known for repairing properties, maintaining them, and looking after people. He rents low for what he's got, and everyone that's seen his properties from what I've shared has been dumbfounded by the insanely reasonable prices and good, solid conditions of the homes. So I could have placated, buckled, or even ignored this and move on. Hell, anyone who was as highly as offended by me of some of his super conservative stances could have played a simple-minded bitch card and went balls to the wall posting that baseless shit, digging 20,000 leagues under the sea to find some deteriorated skeletons of his to boast to the masses in an effort to discredit him. Desperately grasping at straws, getting at him somehow so that I could shock and outrage people in an effort to make them forget that I started a bunch of bullshit in the first place, aka avoiding any accountability for the original lies aka having no merit, my word meaning nothing, never apologizing for things said, grasping at straws. I can't even call that chicken shit or bullshit. That's just bottom of the Mariana Trench grade C shit. I think it's a drastic, sudden decline in discussion when multiple allegations against someone are spat out, and I think that's very suspect, considering the proof that came out on the original accusation regarding him stealing property from a gun range that was allegedly donated. And there's plenty of research on that. After plenty of research into the situation that started my investigation into the allegations, I found that people are drowning. People are drowning in lies, theft, and deceit, and maybe they don't realize it, but the water doesn't care. Have you ever nearly drowned? Have you ever tried to save a drowning person? The instinct to cling to the nearest object or person in order to stay afloat can be either life-saving or life-ending. You just might drag the people looking to save you down into the depths with you. As for me, that's not me. I'm not smearing the Chauvin family anytime soon, nor his livelihood or reputation, his business, his means to support his children. I'm more than aware of the work he and his wife have put into dealing with other people's shit, and I'd appreciate if individuals would be smart enough to avoid provoking any further discussion on this mess because it's ready. That's the life raft. Don't drown. Next, a board of lies. Trent Buxton and Becky's unfair game.